See, we got sound coming out the back end now that I got the microphone turned on. And yep, past the ads. And already I have sound issues. Audio. Already I have sound issues. I can't believe this. Oh. Like, what is this world coming to? Oh. Do I have sound coming out? Yeah, I do got sound coming out, but not out of my speakers for some stupid reason. Oh, jeez. Hey, Sunflower, how you doing? How's it going, Christina? I've got this major issue right now. I got no sound coming out of my speakers. So I'm going to have to use a headset just so I can hear what the heck's going on. Which is going to suck. Because I've had these strapped over my computer for so long. Now they're spread out so much. I got to rework this thing. Huh. But let's get this pony show hooked up and ready to go. Ladies, gentlemen, pronoun. Lend me your ears. Oh, now I can't hear anything. Now I can't hear anything. This is not going to be fun. I don't know what the heck is going on with this darn computer. Every time Windows does an update or anything, everything seems to go backwards on me. I have no idea what's going on. I tried all my things, and it's only going through these headphones. This is odd. Well, I guess I'll have to wait a minute for my sound to come back to me. Don't know what the heck's going on here. Oh, I'll have to finagle that after the live stream. Oh well. Um, yeah, I went to the car show uptown, and there must there must have been like 300 cars uptown. There was like cars with gull wings on them, like little I can't remember what they're called. Not DeLoreans or anything like that, but they look like DeLoreans. And there was like MGs like you wouldn't believe. There was Corvette, all kinds of different cars. There was Camaros. There was everything up there, and it was a lot of fun. We reminisce about uh, all the different generations of cars that created the safety versions of cars that we have today, and to see how the evolution of the vehicles came along. It was, that's one thing I love about car shows is you get to see that evolution of where the car started and how they became to what they are today. So I just that's what I love about car shows. It's just a fantastic way to revisit history. And what's your favorite car, Christina? Those old cars with fins, yeah, like the Road Runners, and you know with those great big whale tails on the back end. Yeah, I think every grocery car should have a handle like that. Oh, Kieran loves the Lamborghinis. Yeah, we got like 3 or 4 Lamborghinis rolling around on the streets around here, and none of them were at the car show. Yeah, apparently they would have stolen the show. So because a lot of people really like the sleek look of those Lamborghinis. There was Corvettes of every age, like just all the way from like 55 Corvette all the way up. It was nuts. Same thing with Mustangs, and it was just incredible. Some of the work that was done to some of these cars. I still have to edit the videos from my walk arounds. It's serious bucks. It's serious bucks anywhere to buy a Lamborghini. So it's just one of those things that like when you're looking at a vehicle that costs like 200,000 or 300,000 dollars, when you start multiplying that by 42 to get to the peso, that's quite a few bucks. Yeah. But even some of the cars that were up there, like there was a '69 Cobra kit car. Like even though it was a kit car, you put it together, it was still one of the most beautiful cars up there, in my opinion. Just incredible. There was another car up there. It was an old uh, Model A bucket, and they had redone the whole thing, and the tires on it were had to have been from a semi, and it had these great big wide tubs on the back end of it. Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, plus the import tax. That's if it survives the boat ride there. 'Cause there's, I watched some videos where on on the boats, sometimes the waves get so hectic that containers fall off and go down to the bottom of the ocean. There's probably maybe 200, 300 cars at the bottom of the ocean. So, yeah, it's just and I got the headphones on because all of a sudden, my speakers just didn't wanna work today. I was like, "What the" So I gotta go through this whole thing. I gotta tear it all apart, put it all back together, and see if I can figure out what the heck's going on. So I'm talking and I'm hearing myself talk in my head, and it's kind of distracting. So if you hear me a lot, that's why. 'Cause I got to listen to the replay of it. Um, So it is what it is, just to do the live stream. Last week, my brother decided he wanted to play Space Invaders. So what I mean by him playing Space Invaders is he invaded my space all day long. Even though I told him that I had a live stream to do last on the week or on Monday, he stayed until like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was like, dude, now I can't do any live streams. And now you're hindering hindering my progress here. So I said, no more Mondays. No more Mondays. You leave by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Eh, Mondays at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't want any company because I got live stream. I gotta, I want to do this thing here to, engage. You know, I want to engage my audience and see how everybody's doing and keep everybody's spirits up, kind of thing. I can't do that when I got somebody sitting here going, "Hey man, it's your turn." So yeah, like last week there was the NASCAR night race, so my brother came over on Sunday to watch the night race, and he had Monday off, so he stayed over all day long. Um, I sent out a couple invites to some people for coming up on the panel. Hopefully I get at least one response anyway. All depends on how long my live stream is. I sent one out to RJ. It might take him a while to find it, being that he's hard to type, but he's a good guy. I always love having RJ up on the panel. And this other fellow that I sent an invite to, um, a fellow Canadian, he's on the East Coast, and I met him through RJ, and he's a really good guy. So I just kind of hope that he gets the girl and comes up and says hi, and oh, I'll bet. So do you like, what's your favorite car there? Oh, you already said Lamborghini, but what, uh, what model of Lamborghini is your favorite car? Oh, vintage tractors, yeah. Yeah, even, like, even just some of the equipment, to see where the equipment started and how it became to what we know today. It's just incredible. People who don't pay attention to the past are doomed to repeat it. And those that are, um, focusing on the past are trying to force it to happen again. So, just I just wish there was, a little bit more balance in the society today. Like, anymore, people who aren't paying attention to the wrongs that one group did to another in the past, they're actually doing the exact wrong to that group that was wronging your group. That doesn't make things fair. It doesn't make things right. Like, just because, we realize that we made mistakes in the past and corrected them so that you could not do that anymore, now all of a sudden it's the coin is flipped over on the other side instead of sitting on the edge. I Instead of turning the page, they just, turned the tides of who was doing the wrong. So, yeah, like, when it comes to the cars and stuff like that, cars have gone through a lot of changes. Like, there used to be, cars that we didn't have seat belts, and here in Canada, we have a law that this is hard to here in Canada, we have a law that, if the like, it's a heritage law where the, where the, if your car didn't originally come with original equipment with seat belts, you don't have to have them in there. You can put them in, but you don't have to be there. At least that was for the longest time. Like, when my dad and I were going to the car shows, our '55 Chevy didn't have seat belts. So so there might be laws out there that have changed that, but those laws would have basically destroyed oh, those laws basically destroy the heritage of that car. And, yeah, the Huracan, Corrado, yeah, it's a nice car. Uh, Personally, my favorite car, and I owned one, is a '78 Monte Carlo. Uh, when I was a young lad, my parents were going out looking for a new used vehicle to buy for as a family vehicle, and we went to the GM dealership, and they had one on display in the showroom, and I just fell in love with that car, and I said to my parents, I said, "I'm buying one of these when I get older. I want one of these." And when I turned 18, my dad found me one, and we together. We worked on it and got it all under the safety code. We got it all safety and everything like that. And I got the insurance cost 10 times the price of the car. But I got the insurance under my own name, and I drove that car for quite a few years. I had a lot of fun in that car. I had a lot of fun in that car. It was a great car for me to drive. I loved it. And it was easy to work on. Like, everything was, like, wide open and right there. It was just like, you wanted to change spark plugs, I could do it in, like, 35 minutes. If I wanted to do an oil change, 20 minutes, I was done. Everything was, like, wide open. I could reach around the whole engine. Nowadays, geez, you need a jackhammer to push a pin into that engine compartment. But, like, w I just like, technology has created a lot of things to make things easier, and it's also created a lot of things a whole lot harder. And when it comes to the stuff that has made it a whole lot harder, like, before, the average backyard mechanic could work on pretty much any car. Like, if you wanted to get an oil change done, you just pull it up, pop the front end of the car up on some stilts or some logs or whatever like that, get underneath it, turn a few wrenches, and away you go. Now, well, you almost gotta tear half the engine apart just to get an oil change. Yeah, Range Rover is a cheaper, version of the, Lamborghini, but still, Range Rover is still an expensive vehicle. "Hey, Nicole, how are you doing? What's your favorite kind of car of any vintage?" Yeah, we had a car show on the weekend, and, it just so happens to be the same around the same time as, my dad's birthday. So, by the time I was done filming, by the time I got done filming the car show, stuff that I wanted to show on the car show, to post on my Patreon page, I was exhausted, man. Like I said, there must have been like 300 cars there. This is Yeah, yeah, like, you know, with all the electronics and stuff like that, the fuel injection systems, the CPUs, all the different electronic components that are there to, monitor this and monitor that and adjust this, automatically adjust that during your during your travels, that just that just takes the backyard mechanic and basically, tells him, "Good luck." Like, the last vehicle that my dad and I actually worked on was a 1987 or '89, van. We pulled the motor out, fixed the motor up, put the put the motor back together, put it back in the van, and ran it for another bunch of years. But even that was a challenge because, here's all these computer components that you gotta make sure that they go back in and they're tightened down to specifications. If they're over torqued, they don't work properly. If they're under torqued, then they leak. It was just, you gotta really pay attention to, uh, you know, all the specifications required when you're putting a motor before, like, when we rebuilt the motor for the '55 Chevy, it was just, like, that the, you know, you read in the book that the heads need to be torqued at this, and pretty much everything else is like, pretty much standard. Tighten it, over snug. Yeah, some of those electric cars are really, really pitiful when it comes to the looks. Like they're saying, "Oh, it's sleek." No, it ain't. That uh, uh, Tesla EV truck, that thing looks like shit. Like it's it's like something I drew when I was 2. Like it's got no character to it. It's got no feel to it. And this is my opinion I'm talking about. I personally don't like the looks of those things either. And like to me, it looks like garbage. Like what were they thinking when they came up with that straight this, straight here, straight here, straight here, straight? It looks like a brick chopped off with, like, chopped off by a freaking 2-year-old. Yeah, Tesla's looking. I don't like. I know that you got to make room for components and stuff like that. But you also got to make room for the eye because the eye is the first thing that touches that vehicle. And if you take a look at a vehicle and it's just straight, 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 it just looks like something out of Tron. Excuse me, but Tron was a video game that was in the 70s, 80s. It was just like, the only reason why they went with those kind of straight lines because it was too hard to make a round figure, round circle back in those days on a computer. Nowadays, we got all kinds of different machines and capabilities, imagination that could have done much far better view for that vehicle than what they did. Yeah, why would anybody want one of those? Like even the Mustang EV, to me, that's not a Mustang. If they didn't named it, like the Mare or the Stallion or something other than Mustang, because when you hear the word Mustang, first thing that a person who knows cars, first thing you think of is muscle car. Now you see Mustang and it's got a cord hanging off of it. Hello, Lost in Paradise. How are you doing? 71 Dodge Challenger. Actually, there was one there. Um, there was one there. A car show that I went to on the weekend. It was fantastic. We also had the General Lee uptown. Actually, the General Lee is owned by one of the General Lees that was used in the TV show is owned by one of the major car collectors here in town. He had a General Lee out there, and how you doing there, Lost in Paradise? But yeah, the those a lot of those new EVs, like they don't have any kind of aerodynamics. They don't have style. They don't have any swagger. They don't have anything. All they have is fuel mileage because they don't use it. Yeah, it actually got 5 miles to the gallon, eh? Or 5 gallons per the mile. Yeah, 5 gallons per mile. And the thing about it is they use those in NASCAR. Oh, I didn't know that, Nicole. Yeah. Today's my neighbor's birthday. So if you hear any music pumping, uh, drag racing car, nice. Yeah, I had a '78 Monte Carlo LS with the Landau roof on the back, the Landau roof half back, uh, and it had 305 in it with police car interceptor transmission and rear end, and that thing there, when I hit the gas, it just hooked up and took off. Oh, then I had some big meat eaters on the back end of it, some pavement grabbers, and some pretty big tires on the front too. I had 235, like 235 60R14s on the front, 245s on. Oh, Citron, huh? Yeah, I miss the old cars too. That's why I like going to the car shows because it, for me, it makes me feel like I'm back in those days again. When I get to see those kind of cars again, it makes me feel, oh yeah, I had a lot of fun going to see a lot of these cars, and they always remind me more fun times, more simpler times. Uh, People didn't look for a fight from each other. They just like, oh well, you know, you live your life, I'll live mine. We can kind of coexist, but nowadays, too many people want to tell too many people how to live their life. But yeah, like I still got to edit those videos that I took when I walked around Tecumseh Park and when I walked around post them up on my page. Yeah, I wouldn't expect too many cars like that in Hawaii. There's like I know there's a lot of roads in Hawaii. It's just I can't see a whole lot of old cars going there because of the salt water. Gets splashed up on the car, when the winds pick up real bad, and it would basically destroy the car. Um, but we used to go to this car show in January in Detroit. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, called Autorama, and it was after the new car. It was a couple weeks after the new car show, and thousands, thousands of rooms full of cars. It was at the Cobo Theater, and it, it would just you'd walk in and your ears would pop because of all the the pressure that was in that big room, all the air that was in that big room. You walk through the doors and you're yeah, salt and lava doesn't mix. Or salt, lava, and cars don't mix. Good point. But I remember going to the car shows in the Autorama, and you see like they'd have the feature events with like the General Lee and John Schneider and Tom Mopat would show up. The actors of the Duke Hazzard show would show up, sign autographs. They had the Batmobile a bunch of times where Adam West and Robin would show up. Batman and Robin would show up. They had Tron, where the dudes from Tron would show up and sign autographs and whatnot. And one time they had David Hasselhoff showed up and signed autographs. But I was standing there looking at this car, looking at the eye going back and forth, and I was just standing staring at it. And all of a sudden, this elderly gentleman come from behind me and sparked up a conversation. Turns out I was talking to the guy who built the car, George Barris, and I was like totally baffled by how humble and humble, how humble and kind this guy. Like just he was just it was like having a conversation with your grandfather. Like having just a conversation about the old days with your grandfather. It was incredible. And we got talking about the construction of the car and stuff like that. And I was like, how I would build the eye thing. And I told him, he goes, "That's how I built it." I was like, wow. But yeah, it's just yeah, I've seen a lot of different cars, a lot of different stylings on the cars. Like you can see two cars owned by two different people, but they're the exact same make, model, and year of car, and the two cars are completely different. Some people want to chop them down. Some people want to raise them up. Some people want to put big meat eater Mickey Mouse on the back end of them. Some people want to put little skinny tires on it. Some people just want to bring them back to the original. But for the most part, a lot of people want to put a lumpy cam in it and make it sound good. So that when you hear, something important's coming along. And that's another that brings me to another little tiny factoid. Harley Davidson, uh, they make their engines run like that. So this way here, it sounds totally different than any other motorcycle or vehicle out there on the market. When you hear a Harley Davidson rolling down the road, you know that's a Harley Davidson. That was made in a Harley Davidson plant. Either it was an Indian or a Harley Davidson or whatever, but that was made with that motor, and it was done that way for a reason. Stand up and take note of something important coming down the line. But yeah, there was some stock cars up there at the car show. They had a mini modified up there. I was looking at the driver compartment of this thing. There's no way I'd fit in there. That hole must couldn't have been any bigger than this area. Then you got to slip and slide your way into there. Oh, no way. And then there was because like there was plating all the way around it. It was like basically just the only part that was open was where the driver sat, and he was tucked in there nice and tight. And I bet it would have taken that driver maybe 3 or 4 minutes to get his butt on out of there because he would have had to pour himself in and help himself out. Like if he heard anything while he was in there, oh, you pretty much need a crane to get him out. And then when they do get him out, he'll probably go. So yeah, I just when I saw that compartment, I was like, "There's no way you get me into one of these." Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just Um, oh, I met this, not met, but I was introduced to this other YouTuber that I sent an invite to see if he wanted to come on the channel and, you know, and shoot the breeze. Fellow Canadian. Met him through RJ Sandifer. And we were talking on his live stream and we were having I was gonna ask him if he wanted to come on and promote his channel, but apparently he didn't get the message in time. So, well, we'll have him on another time. I sent a message to RJ to see if he wanted to come on, and I haven't seen him yet. So hopefully by the end of my stream, which will probably be shortly, uh, it'll we'll end up seeing him. But if not, we'll have him on another time. Oh, and by the way, everybody, all the Americans out there, happy Memorial Day. I almost forgot about that. Um, yeah, another really good piece of good news is here on the channel. Like the channel's been growing like crazy, and I'm honored that people decide to spend a little bit of time watching the stuff that I create. But like, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I looked at the subscriber count, and it was under 2,700. Now we're almost at 2,750. And I want to welcome all the new friends that have joined the channel, and I hope everybody finds interesting and enjoyable content to watch, and learns a little bit stories about some of the songs and artists that we. Um, but I think I'm pretty much out of gas for tonight. So I want to thank everybody for joining in the conversation, uh, and I want to thank you for being here and watching all the videos. Please watch the ads, uh, and if you're so inclined and you want to help support the channel, there's the Patreon page that I've started up. And until we get to the next one, my friends, I wish you all peace, love, and happiness.